Dessie Farrell, new Dublin manager. You've been a long time waiting for this, I'd say. You must be very proud.
Yeah, obviously it is proud moment to be announced as a Dublin manager. Proud for family and proud for my club Nafina as well. So yeah, delighted.
You're coming into it with a lot of players that you've had under your belt. Jack McCaffrey, Kieran Kilkenny, Conor Callahan, Brian Fenton, John Small. Does that give you a head start?
Well, obviously it's great to know those players. I'd know them very well over the years, and I'm delighted to have the opportunity to work with them again.
What does success look like for you in 2020? What is the Dessie Farrell philosophy going to be regarding how you play football?
It's an interesting question. I think in terms of the style of football, I don't see it drastically changing. I've always been passionate about attacking football. I think this team have been fantastic proponents of that. So I don't see any great change there. In terms of overall philosophy, I'd like to create a framework and environment around players where they're highly stimulated, highly challenged, but also highly supported.
Regarding the 5 in a row, it was an incredible achievement. They made history, the team, Dessie. Do you feel like you have to win the All-Ireland this year?
Do you know what? We're sort of not talking about it in those terms. It's very early days yet. We still have to sit down, and we've had one quick meeting, so we haven't discussed any sort of big game plans or big vision for the next 3 years. What I can say is that the players themselves have obviously set very high standards, and I don't see them stepping back from that, and I'll be encouraging them to pursue even greater standards in the season ahead.
Stephen Cluxton is such a leader, 38 years of age now. Dessie, is he staying on?
Stephen is staying on, I'm delighted to say. He's been a fantastic servant to Dublin football, and a player of his talent and experience is badly needed, particularly with a new management team coming in. So we're delighted that Stephen is going to be involved with the group next year.
And Dermot Connolly as well, he'll be sticking through.
Yeah, Dermot. I met with Dermot, and he's keen to stay involved and look forward to the season ahead.
Do you have to kind of distance yourself, Dessie, given you know these players so well? Some of them you play with, like Stephen, some of them you've coached at underage. Do you have to kind of maybe put a little bit of separation now, you're senior manager?
Well, I think once you're coaching, that separation is always important. But my style is very much based on relationships, and they are important to me, and trying to get the best out of players. And I think having really strong relationships with your players is important, and understanding that there is a line you don't cross.
How have you prepared for this? You're a minor, you're under 21 All-Ireland when you manager. Surely this was in your head that this might happen someday. Have you prepared mentally for this over time?
I wouldn't say I've prepared mentally for it. I have given it some thought, to be honest, and the natural inclination would have been perhaps viewed that you start with development squads, move into minor under 21, and the next obvious step is to take on the senior role. But with the suchness of life, sometimes that doesn't happen, and obviously with Jim stepping down, it presented an opportunity, and it was time for me to reflect on where I'm at in my life and everything else, and ultimately I came to the decision that it is a job at this point in time that I'd be more than happy to take on.
You've been in the psychiatric nursing, Dessie, in the GPA. How is your life going to change, being probably in the most high-profile positions in our sport?
Yeah, it's not going to change me as an individual. Obviously, I have to be conscious of the demands that come with the job, and I think time management is going to become a priority for me. It's a full schedule. Every minute is accounted for. And then on top of that, you have family and your own day job as well. So it's going to be pretty hectic, but I'm going into this with eyes wide open and looking forward to it.
Are Kerry the biggest threat to the 6 in a row, do you think?
Kerry are a huge threat. I think everybody knows that they're a coming team and coming with a full deck. Their trajectory looks very, very impressive. But it's not just Kerry. I think you look at Cork last year and put Dublin to the pin of the collar for a long time. I think there are threats in Leinster this season that perhaps there wasn't in other seasons. Look at Meath, new management in Kildare, and obviously our first game against Westmeath in the championship, and we'll be looking no further than them. Then in Connacht, new management in Galway, Mayo. We know what Mayo have, and have been knocking on the door for numerous years now. And then up north you've Donegal, Tyrone, and teams like that are young and enthusiastic, and I'd say have a great appetite to take Dublin off its pedestal.
Jack McCaffrey was injured the week, Dessie, speaking about the advanced mark. Not the biggest fan of it. What's your view on it?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing it. I haven't given it a huge amount of consideration. In the little bit I've thought about it over the last couple of days, I'm curious, shall I say. I think potentially was brought about at a time to try and address some of the challenges in the game, but maybe the last season probably saw some of the most attacking football that's been played, particularly at the business end of the season, and some fantastic games. So I just hope it doesn't prove to be counterintuitive, and that the thing it was set out to do, that to address, that it doesn't, and can end up being a bit of a burden on the game. But that remains to be seen.
Just before we finish up, Dessie, Donegal not playing in the McKenna Cup this weekend. You were the GPA boss for many years. Does something need to be done about the fixture calendar? Are these preliminary competitions helpful? You got Longford for your first up on Saturday.
Yeah, I think it's all about context, and where you're coming from. For me, definitely the O'Byrne Cup and playing Longford is going to be very, very important, and it's invaluable in terms of assessing new talent and new players, and we're looking forward to the game on Saturday.
Is this the chance, this period now with the league, with Kerry first up with the O'Byrne Cup, for new players to take their claim under a clean slate?
I think so. Obviously the O'Byrne Cup is going to tell us a lot. We've had some trials as well. You definitely would like to introduce some new blood during the course of the National League campaign. At what point that happens, I'm not sure. Obviously coming from club football to senior inter-county football at this level is a big step up, so there may have to be some acclimatisation, if you like, for some of these younger players, but we're definitely keen to introduce new blood anyway.
And finally, Dessie, 95, you were there, you won the All-Ireland, you've been there minor under 21, I'm sure you're a fan in the stands back in September. This is the moment that you're looking to seize now as Dublin football manager.
Yeah, look, as I said, it's a great honour, a great privilege. They're a fantastic group of players, have brought unprecedented success to this county, and for me it's a wonderful opportunity to get to work with this talented bunch again.
Dessie, that's a good luck against Longford on Saturday throughout the season, and thanks for speaking to Off the Ball today.
Thank you, John. Thanks a million.